life to change so bad. Get serious about your life. Listen, people spend more time planning their vacation than they do their life. This is the time to get serious. You guys just had the most incredible life-changing weekend. And some of you are going to do something with this. But then some of you are not. And I encourage you at this very moment, as Jen shares some of the sacrifices that she made so that her and her husband and her children can have the extraordinary life that they have, that let this be the day, let this be the moment where you say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I will change my life.
So here's someone, so we just heard someone with a job and what they're willing to give up. Right now, Jennifer and Jared, they each had a traditional business. Okay, so those of you maybe who have traditional businesses or people on your team with traditional businesses, you know, here's someone for you that you can relate to.
Thanks, Ryan and Andrea. I'm so excited. And I know, she's saying I'm shaking, and we get so emotional because, like she said, we wish we could just share and invest ourselves into you so badly so you walk out of here and you get it, you know. And my husband and I, as many of you may or may not know, had a traditional business. It was his construction company that his parents had actually started over 30 years ago. And, oh, there's Debbie. Okay. And, you know, they worked very hard. And my husband and I were going to be celebrating our 14-year anniversary this year. And, and I watched my husband and I watched his parents not only invest a lot of their time into the business, but I saw them invest a lot of their capital. I saw them invest everything they had. I watched my in-laws give up retirement money that they thought they were going to be able to live off of for the rest of their life. And I want you guys to imagine watching people in their 60s take everything they worked so hard for 30 years and put it back into a company in hopes. In Herbalife, we can have absolute certainty, right? Because the company works, the product works. But these guys, they didn't have certainty. They had something really pathetic called hope. I hope it works. I hope we can get through it. And I watched them give so much of their money and their retirement and everything up in their 60s when they're supposed to be enjoying their golden years to a company that 6 months after we started Herbalife ended up going bankrupt, and they had a corporate bankruptcy. And really, guys, we were left with nothing. So my parents, my in-laws, they are my parents, you know, who worked so hard, were left with nothing. Our car got taken away. Our retirement got taken away. And I want you guys to imagine, you know, hon, you were at the company for probably 20 years, 25 years. And we really thought we had our life set. So when we found Herbalife, you guys know I said yesterday I used 3 credit cards to become a supervisor. And they had a multi-million-dollar business. And I had to use 3 credit cards to become supervisor. So there's 3 investments I learned from my mentor. There's capital, there's emotional, and there's time investment. And you guys want to write that down. Emotional, capital, and time investment. So when we got started, because my husband had a business, and I had a little business working with kids. It wasn't anything extraordinary. We didn't do millions of dollars. I had a good income, but a little business that I was passionate about working with kids. So we didn't have a lot of time. We didn't have a lot of money. But guys, what I invested in the business initially was all my emotion. I took every single piece of my heart and I opened my heart up to this business and I poured myself into this business because I had very little time and very little money. So DJ said it yesterday, I fell in love with the products. And I fell so in love with the company. But what I fell so in love with was the opportunity that I could help my parents, my in-laws, because they were losing everything. So I fell in love with the vision that everything they worked 30 years for, that they couldn't do with their traditional company, that maybe we could do it with Herbalife. So I fell in love with the possibility. Does that make sense? Great. And so I fell in love with the possibility, so I invested myself emotionally into this thing because we didn't really have anything else we could do. My mother-in-law, she's 71, and she said, where was I going to get a job? And so in the beginning, I did it more for my mom and more for my in-laws because I wanted to provide more for them. So we put in the emotion and the heart and the soul and the passion and the feeling. And guys, that's why people followed us, I really believe. Not because we knew about the products, guys. I was so thin, kind of like Ryan. I needed to gain weight, if anything. You know, I didn't have weight to lose, so I didn't have a product story. I didn't know about health and nutrition, but I fell in love with it. So it was all the emotional investment. Then what we did when the company went under and we ended up going through the corporate bankruptcy, we didn't have anything financially left because the retirement was gone and the car was gone, but we still had our house. Okay, so what we gave up is we gave up the equity in our house. And we refinanced and we refinanced and we refinanced till there was really nothing left. Now, is that something you have to do? No. But that's something we did because in the beginning we did everything through talking to people. And then we wanted to be able to invest financially to be able to do more, so we did that. But one of the biggest things that I had to invest, guys, and I had to give up. You talk about what did we have to give up? And Andrea said it best. We gave up time. I gave up time with my son. And a lot of my center of influence, you know, they're so negative. They went like this. You said you started this business for your son, and you never spend time with your son. This business doesn't make any sense. Anyone ever heard that? And you get such a hard time, and they don't understand that you're going for your dream. That's why, and it's temporary. Okay, so I gave up that time. The other thing, guys, I had to really give up was my small thinking. And I had to really give up my fears because I sat on the couch for 2.5 hours with my husband with, you know, with passion and because he really wanted to make sure we weren't going to screw up again, right? Is he sat on the couch for 2.5 hours the night I signed up supervisor with 3 credit cards and asked me every question in the book about how this was going to work. He wanted to know how. Tell me the plan. He asked me what was the marketing plan. I said, I don't know. He asked me, you know, how I was going to get paid. I said, I don't know. He even said, how much are you going to get paid? I said, I don't know. I didn't know anything. Okay, but you know what I did, guys? And I don't know why. I think it was because of my mentor's certainty and the Herbalife plan and the Mark Hughes story. I, for some reason, felt so much certainty that we could do this if everybody else could do this, that I remember sitting on the couch and looking at my husband in the eye. And I said to him, honey, if you just let me do this, I promise you, and I don't know how, but I promise you we will make millions with this company. And you know what, guys, when I said that to him, he said, okay. And then what I had to do is I had to give up my fears that I couldn't do this. I had to throw all the fears away because, number one, I made him a promise. And I had to keep my promise. So I had to give up all the fears because in the beginning what was holding me back is all the negative imagination in my head that if I failed, he would be so disappointed in me. And I couldn't disappoint my husband. They were already so disappointed with what was happening in our life. So I had to give up the fears and the imagination that I would fail, and I had to get so focused on what to do. And quite honestly, guys, if I look at time investment and emotional investment and capital investment, the biggest thing that I've given to this business is the emotional investment, because when you've got the emotion and the passion and the belief, the money, you'll find it. The time, you'll find it. So many people are like, how do I do it? I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Who cares? If you've got the emotion and the passion, guys, you'll find the answers. And I came into this business thinking it had to be a race, and I got over it. I realized that this is a journey. And you don't have to race your way to the top if you don't want to. If you want to take 20 years, great. If you want to take 10 years, great. If you want to take 2, great. But when I got it that it's a journey, and you just put your whole heart and soul into this company and make a firm, upfront decision, this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, all the other answers will come. So invest, guys, because the company has changed your life. And hun, thank you for believing in me. I love you.